Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, and everybody inside and outside the ballpark to the Noved podcast, where we talk to many different creators and communities inside of VRChat. I'm your host, and today on episode 89, yes, of the podcast, we have an amazing individual who has not only been around the DJ space, but also has made one of the programs that a lot of DJs and events use here inside of VRChat, as well as done some amazing other stuff. Today, we have the amazing JazzySenpai. Jazzy, welcome to the podcast. Hope you're doing well.
Thank you for having me. I hope you're doing well as well. I'm good.
I'm doing all right. We totally didn't flub up the intro. We're editor, good luck with that.
Yeah, just edit it out. It's good. Don't worry. No one knows.
Of course. Well, for the general listening audience, who exactly is JazzySenpai?
I am the project lead for VRCDN, which is what a lot of events and festivals and clubs use in VR for low latency streaming. I'm also a DJ. I'm also a programmer to some degree. My team will disagree. I will not. I try. Yeah, that's me. I've been around for way too long now, I think.
No, I mean, fair. Well, obviously, you know, VRCDN being one of the most used things when it comes to bigger events, you know, before we get too far into that rabbit hole, learning a little bit more about you, what exactly got you started into VRChat in the first place?
Gosh, I've always been a fan of technology. And I had an Oculus Dev Kit V1 back in the day when those were a thing. And I wanted to get into game development, especially with VR, because I thought that was interesting. Didn't do that. And then when the Vive came out, I got one because I was like, this is, finally a release product. I can finally do, the tools will be there for development and etc. And then I was like, what apps are there? Because, I went on Steam, went for VR apps, and there was like some tech demos and then VRChat, which I guess was still a tech demo and still is technically, or a bit, or at least according to the menu. And that's how I got in. It was the only app available that I could actually play on.
No, fair. I mean that's a relic nowadays. Like the old dev kit, that's an old one. you don't.
I still have it in my loft somewhere.
Do you really? That's awesome.
Yeah. It came in this like plastic Pelican case. It's amazing.
That's what's up. No, I mean that's it's very rare to hear those out in the wild anymore. So, but that's
yeah.
Awesome.
I don't know if it boots, but I still have it.
Fair. So obviously, you've wow, my brain is completely scattered. Editor, you're gonna have a lot.
Don't worry, mine all the time.
But obviously, getting that dev kit and stuff. What made you you're talking about you're interested in VR and developing like game and stuff and VR. So what made you want to choose VRChat specifically?
Well, like I said, it was the only app available on the Steam store. That seemed interesting. I'm also a fan. Sorry, I'm using Reddit now. I'm also a fan of Vocaloid, and there's not a lot of that of the community, of the Vocaloid community where I live or anything like that. So, but there is in VR. There always has been in VRChat. So that's what originally kept me in VRChat after finding it on Steam. No,
fair. Well, obviously, you've done a lot when it comes to VR. You've been around for quite a while. So what, you've been in the DJ scene, very early on. So I guess one of the things I want to ask, because obviously times have changed a lot within VR and especially the DJ scene and stuff. So what were some of in your personal opinion, back when you started in the early days, what were some of the best moments from the early days of the DJ scene?
Gosh, I remember the first time full body tracking became a thing. And I was invited to, I think it was a DDVR event back in 2000 and I want to say 17, 18, around that time. And I think it was Rave Robbie, for those who know what that is. And I remember I walked in the room, the DJ's in the middle, mic spamming, because we didn't have stream players back then. And it was just a room of full-body dancers just enjoying the DJ. And I'm like, whoa, that's cool. It almost felt like a shift from, half-body, mostly desktop players to we actually have full presence now, full-body presence, which was kind of insane to see.
It's definitely crazy going from back then when, it was very simplistic back then, right? Avatars were a lot more simpler, the technology was a lot more simpler. And now here we are, years later, almost 11 years of being a platform, and we have all these fancy trackers, all these fancy headsets. Like, it's crazy. Not to mention, even desktop has more tracking available with the new VTuber mode. It's
Yeah.
crazy. It's
Yeah,
it's
I mean,
insane.
I'm wearing a headset that is a quarter of the size of the Index. I got the Big Screen Beyond 2, and it has an eye tracker in it. That was unheard of. Like, it wasn't even believable back when I started. It was a low-res toaster strapped to your face. That's what we got. That's what we had to deal with. And now it's like, oh, you want super high-res OLED and an eye tracker? Yeah, sure. What? What happened?
No, for sure. I mean, it technology has evolved. And speaking of that, kind of to go, into what you do, for the general listening audience that may not be aware, what exactly is VRCDN?
Sure. So VRCDN, the best way to explain it is it's Twitch, but without the 30-second delay, and it doesn't have the ads either. It's mainly designed for events that need real-time interaction, because obviously back when I started, we were mic spam DJing. So we had real-time interaction with the room, and then when we moved to Twitch, yes, we got higher audio quality, but we suddenly had this massive 30-second disconnect. So reading the room was like, I'll play a drop, I'll wait. Did the room like it? Did the room not? And it's like a drum roll waiting for it, So VRCDN brings back that real-time interaction. So you can, really, you can have the high-quality audio and also have, the ability to read the room in real time, be able to see the reaction to the drop you just hit, etc. It's a cool project, I think. It's one of my coolest ones.
I mean, of course, like it's definitely a crazy thing, to say the least. I mean, out of curiosity, I don't know if you know the exact number. Well, maybe you do because you have access to all of it. But if you have a general ballpark, how many people or how many things have used VRCDN?
I genuinely have no idea. VRCDN's been used for basically everything over the past couple of years, and it's just every year it's growing and growing and growing. As VRChat and other VR platforms grow, because VRCDN is not just for VRChat. As the platforms grow, more people are running events, more people are running festivals, etc. More people are using VRCDN. So I honestly don't know how many events have used it. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
genuinely no idea.
That's fair. I mean, a main thing is a lot of people use it. Like the main thing people use nowadays, for these bigger events, whether it's like festivals or music events. I mean, there's a lot. So it's definitely a crazy thing. So I guess kind of to go into it a little bit. So what kind of, obviously you talked a little bit about how going to Twitch, and having that delay, but what specifically made you want to, what kind of inspired the creation of VRCD and like the whole technology side of it?
As a DJ, I need that real time interaction with the room so I can be more responsive, and I can be more present, I guess, with the vibes that I'm creating and the people that are enjoying those vibes. That was the main reason for creating VRCDN, because like I say, we went to Twitch, we lost all that. And it was it felt like, how do I word this? If I don't want to say it's like playing to yourself, because you're not playing to yourself, but because of that disconnect, it felt like that sometimes,
Mm-hmm. No, I mean, it definitely almost eliminates that delay, which is phenomenal. And a lot of virtual things have a struggle of having that. So definitely kudos to making something that, can make it in real time. That's originally that was unheard of until VRCDN. So definitely kudos to you and the team to, make it happen.
I won't lie, it wasn't easy. But I think, like I said, I have some of the best people working on VRCDN. I've never met people who are so not just dedicated but talented, and creative and passionate. And I remember in the early days, I'd be woken up at like 4 or 5 in the morning because something had broken, with an early build of VRCDN before we had it as stable as it is now. And I'd wake up and message the group chat and be like, hey, what's going on? And one of my team would be like, oh yeah, I woke up, dealt with it, I'm going back to bed. I'm like, all right, cool, thanks, I appreciate it. Like, you know, and I think without them, it would basically be impossible to really do it. You know, as much as I like to say I can do everything, I really can't do everything. And I will say VRCDN definitely humbled me there. Definitely. Wow, I think at this point, most of it is way beyond my pay grade, because my team have just advanced it way further than I could ever expect. And making this stuff is hard. Always have talented people.
No, that's fair. I mean, kind of to go into that, you know, because obviously VRCDN itself has had changes since its, you know, first early days. So out of curiosity, you know, what were some of the challenges, you know, throughout the years of VRCDN? Like, what were some of the challenges as it continued to grow and manifest?
So originally, it was small enough that I used to run out of my apartment. I remember those days. That was fun. But the problem is that because it got so popular so fast, we had to basically build a production-ready network within about a week. And, you know, that is incredibly difficult to do when you're building something with so many moving parts. It's also used globally. You know, we're not just used in my hometown or in my home country. We're used all over the world, and everyone has to be in sync, and everyone has to have perfect connection, and etc. etc. And it's doing not just speed, but not just the speed of development, but getting getting it right first time. You know, we're never going to do. We're human. You know, sometimes we will break things. Sometimes the universe will hit us, and an undersea cable will break, and suddenly we lose access to Australia, which has happened. But yeah, I would say global distribution is the hardest bit. On top of, you know, building our own software from scratch, because it's more cost effective, and trying to keep the prices low while also having what's it called? Having the most stable global connection at real time. Because that's also there's a lot of really difficult things in this. Now that I say them all out loud. Yeah, I do think global distribution would be the hardest bit.
No, I mean,
because
that's fair.
Yeah, because like we have issues like Comcast. They exist. You know, how do we deal with Comcast issues? How do we deal, like I said, how do we deal with, I'm in Europe and I want to stream to Australia, but the connection between Europe and Australia is down, so I have to route through America. America has notoriously bad infrastructure when it comes to internet connection, so it's like, how do I get from all the way across the country and then carry on without losing any data or keeping it all real time? It's incredibly difficult. And, you know, I think it's a pitfall that a lot of people trying to do what we do run into, sadly, because, you know, the internet for a lot of people just works, but there's a lot of magic underneath to make it just work. Yeah. Gosh, we actually are planning on doing a full technical breakdown on how VRCDN works. It's like a keynote. I was supposed to do it this year, but I haven't yet, so it'll probably be next year now. But I know, you know, the VRCDN is funded by the community. You know, they're paying us to do this. So it only makes sense for us to share what we've learned over the years, because we have learned a lot.
Hell yeah. No, I mean, that'd be amazing. And I think it would go very, very well. But yeah, no, I mean, that would be amazing to have that to where people can see, you know, everything when it comes to that, because I mean, knowledge is power at the end of the day. And with VRCDN, a lot of things can go, if it's not used correctly, a lot of things can be a little bit glitchy. But that's not your guys' fault. That's just, you know, user error. So I guess that begs the question. Well, go ahead.
I'm going to say, we have been working with OBS to have a drop down in the server menu to be VRCDN, and then that will apply the base settings already for you. I believe that was pushed out a little while ago, and I think it's mostly working, but we're trying to expand on that to do more things that I sadly can't talk about right now. But we're hoping to make it much easier to not mess up the settings and to make it a lot more user-friendly.
Yeah, I was gonna say I've used the OBS side with a little VRCDN thing, so that was super helpful. It makes my life a lot easier, like on the DJ side, because you know, I DJ and I also stream like normal stuff on Twitch. So having that profile, it's like, all right, VRCDN, yes, thank you. Like,
yes,
it makes life so much easier.
Yes. Yes, it was something we wanted for a while. We had to hit certain internal goals so I could do that. And we managed to hit those, and we managed to get on to doing the OBS thing, which, as you say, is rather helpful.
No, 100%, and it makes sure that people don't overstream their bit rates and everything. And
yeah,
yeah, it's definitely it's funny because I've only seen that happen like twice, maybe 3 times, and it's people who know better, but they love to test how much they could do within that bit rate, and I'm like, y'all need to stop.
well, yeah, I mean, the problem with high bitrate is we pay for bandwidth. If you're streaming at, I don't know, 10,000, 20,000, 30,000, we're having to pay for that. And it would quickly make VRCDN not cost effective and would make it very unfeasible. So that's why we have the bitrate caps. I know a lot of people want us to rid the bitrate caps, and we are looking into it, but we need to. It's going to take us a little bit.
Of course, and a lot of it's going to be research and figuring how it can be feasible, and that's totally understandable.
Yeah, from a technical perspective, I think we're there, because it's more to do with global distribution and making sure that's stable enough to push the extra data and etc. It's the financial side. We still figuring that out, and I don't want to say we're going to do it. I don't want to say we're not going to do it. We have figuring stuff out.
Yeah, looking into it to put a pin on it.
Yeah, it's on our to-do list.
That's fair. No, that's fair. I mean, nothing. Unfortunately, nothing at the end of the day, especially when it comes to technology, is free. So it's definitely understandable to say it's understandable to say the least.
Yeah.
To keep.
Yeah, VRCDN is definitely not free, although I'm sure people believe it is. It is incredibly expensive. And I'm still surprised at how we can keep it so cheap. I know how, because I work with VRCDN, spoilers. It's a lot. It's like I said, it's doing things like building our own software from scratch, so there's no software licensing. It's things like working with server providers to make sure that we're optimizing our hardware usage and to optimize costs there, and just doing stuff like that. Because it can very quickly spiral out of control if we don't really keep on top of it. And I think right now I'm pretty confident that we're doing pretty well. The numbers all look good. But we can't just do higher bitrate just like that.
No, and that's completely fair. Well, I guess kind of to go a little bit further in depth. So obviously, with the technology side, complications, there's a little bit, but you're having a ways for them to be fixed just by pressing a button. Which is very commendable to say the least, because I mean that makes things a lot easier for the normal user who's not familiar with like, oh, you have to set your bitrate to this, or you have to do this, that. Makes 10 times easier.
Yeah, we do have very helpful guys on our wiki, which is maintained by us and our Discord support team. Shout out Discord support team. They are very, very helpful and save us a lot of time. They're also available in other languages now. We have the wiki fully translated into Japanese, for example. We do want to add more languages, but turns out, well, at least from my experience, I'm not very good at languages. So, we are working on fully translating our entire platform to be in a number of languages, which will help with accessibility, because, spoilers, not everyone speaks English. And Google Translate exists, but it's not amazing. So yeah, that's another thing we're trying to work on.
No, I mean, that's awesome, because there are a lot of people that use VRCDN, and to expand that global outreach definitely would be helpful, at least in my personal opinion. I'm not a business person, but I can at least understand basic business fundamentals. But I mean, that's amazing. And hopefully, as years progress, you get more international-based users using VRCDN. I think that'd be a huge thing across the board.
Indeed. It's like, for example, I know we're big in Japan. Our Japanese servers are always very busy. But during our recent maintenance, we noticed we're getting messages from people in South Africa, which we didn't consider to be, a region with demand. Obviously, in our, we can see where people are viewing from. To a degree, data protection, all that makes it a little complicated. But, we're seeing more people from more regions connecting to our network and actively, trying to use it, and it's making us want to expand and want to do other languages and make it as accessible as we can for everyone. it's very motivating in that respect.
No, for sure. I mean that's South Africa. That's crazy. Like
Yeah.
that's awesome. I mean, I know there's
Yeah,
a
I
few
remember.
organizations. Go ahead.
Yeah, there was I can talk about this 'cause it was in a public Discord. There was a user in South Africa that was having connection issues. And I'm like, I didn't expect this to be a question I had to answer, but sure, we can figure this out. And we did for them, thankfully. But it's crazy because, I started this project in my apartment in it'll be 2019 now, I think. And I never expected it to be, a globally used thing like it is, which is kind of crazy. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh no, I mean it's crazy. Like there's definitely other organizations out there that use it. Like I know some Spanish side, like Spain and Venezuela, they use it. I know I mean there's so many. I mean, I know a lot of EU people use it as well as America use it. But
Yes.
it's definitely crazy to say the least. Like, and I just want to specify right here, I'm not sponsored by VRCDN. I just admire what they do. I just want to make that very clear.
Sadly, we don't have sponsorships, I'm afraid.
No, it's okay. I don't mind paying for my VRCDN. Like that's 100% fine. It's worth it. It's 100% worth it.
I appreciate it.
Especially with doing major events like Project Community or like Project Fest as a team lead of community relations, as well as my new annual event, which it's an annual event. We've already teased that's going to happen next year, but Squad Ferro Fest, which I'm gonna have to play some cards on this upcoming year because a lot of new things are gonna happen. New collab community, which we've already teased out. Who've used VRCDN a bunch, so we're already in progress with that, and I'm super excited for that. But
nice.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm super excited. But back to topic. I don't want to tangent too much. So with VRCDN, obviously the creation side of it, because obviously there's a lot of technical things when it comes to making sure this almost zero latency between the user and VRChat. Obviously there were some challenges probably to kind of get it as close as possible. So what were some of like the challenges when it comes to that side specifically?
Gosh, I remember in the very early days when we were still working on the software for it. So for context, we have a thing called Media Server. Media Server is the software we built in-house that runs the actual streams. So when you're streaming and when you're watching a stream, you're connecting to Media Server. And when we were still writing that, one of the early versions of it, the stream would play, and it would be low latency, and it would be amazing, and then suddenly we would get what we call pixel soup, where the screen would just kind of melt. And that was very confusing. Because we would test it in VLC, it would be fine. We would test it in all these other tools, it'd be fine. We test it in a few VR platforms, and it would just pixel soup. And that was definitely one of the biggest challenges that we had. But thankfully, we were able to solve that issue a long time ago now, and we are now very much experts on pixel soup.
Good old pixel soup. Good old pixel soup.
Good old pixel soup.
I mean, it's definitely a crazy thing. Like, yeah, of course, with something like this, there's a lot of potential for like, small issues like that. No program is 100% flawless. But, as long as you're using the settings right, I'm looking at you, people who are not using it right, it typically does work pretty damn good. It's nice because you don't have to have like the greatest PC to run it. You don't have to have like the greatest, like I know a bunch of friends of mine who DJ who don't have the greatest PCs, but they can use VRCDN and it's no different than somebody who has this big tanky beefy PC. And that's
exactly. That's
it's really
more
nice.
down to like how hardware's come along there. A lot of GPUs and a lot of CPUs have dedicated chips on board for encoding and decoding, broadcast, streaming and playback, basically. So that's mainly down to that, not to VRCDN.
Absolutely, and it's it still goes to show that anybody can use it, which is very, very good. It makes things a lot easier.
Yes.
So I guess out of curiosity, because you have your guys' own support team when it comes to like, making things communicated if people have issues. So out of curiosity, what's like one of the most common issues when it comes to like VRCDN, like maybe that you get like when you support tickets?
This is a difficult one. We do see obviously regularly that a lot of people have their keyframe set wrong. Going back to the settings being set wrong, for example. Usually a keyframe not set to 1, it sets to 0 by default. Which in VR platforms that use something like AV Pro, it can cause it's a little strange because it might seem fine for a while and then it might not. It's a very strange one. We do get that one quite often, which again we hope to see less of now that we have the OBS drop down. But yeah, I think that's probably the most common one we have.
I mean, yeah, that sounds about right. I mean, there's
it is a
go ahead.
Yeah, it's a nice issue to have because there's a nightmare scenario of why isn't this working? Why isn't that working? This is broken, blah blah, which we touch wood don't really seem to have, which is nice. It's relaxing on my part, at least, anyway.
For sure. Because obviously anything can happen when it comes to streaming. Whether it be their PC's end or heaven forbid the internet goes down for whatever reason or a server goes down. I mean, there's hundreds of different things that could happen, which doesn't really happen too often. But
no, well, I mean, we've had back in the early days when VRCDN finally moved out of my apartment and was in a rented machines. I remember getting a message at 2 a.m. and it was like, VRCDN's on fire. And I'm like, yeah, I know, it's great, isn't it? And like, no. Servers were on fire. And the server room that it was in had caught fire in France. And I was like, what do I do? Am I going to go to France? What am I going to do? Like, that was so yeah, anything can happen. But thankfully VRCDN these days is built to withstand fires, which is not something I considered on day one, put it that way.
Fair. I didn't even know that happened. I'm sorry to hear that happened.
Yeah, it was an interesting night. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, I believe it. Are they still based? Is the server still based out in France, or is it like somewhere a little bit more local
now? We have moved server providers. The servers are all over the world. Because we need servers near where our users are. I will say the server provider we didn't cause a fire, just to be clear. Just to put that out there. They're a big company. They took it on the chin, rebuilt up, and were fine again. So thankfully it didn't harm them too much, but it was definitely a first time for me to experience that.
No, I mean, fair. I mean, I don't think anybody would expect to have that type of experience. So.
No.
but
definitely not.
I mean, hey, it's still going. It's not like a one and done type deal. So you're still pushing away with VRCDN.
Oh, actually, there might have been a time when I had to apologize due to a temporary outage due to a shack eating an undersea cable. I think that happened. I know undersea cables are attacked by shacks all the time. That's normal. But I think at one point it was a specific cable that affected our connectivity to somewhere many years ago now. It's probably in the announcement logged in the Discord server somewhere. But I think I remember sitting in a call with my team, be like, how do I explain to our users that we can't operate now because of a shack? Like how it was a very strange time.
It definitely seems like it, to say the least.
Yeah, because it also sounds like the most made-up excuse. Like, oh yeah, sorry, servers are broken because of a shack. It's like shacks aren't in server rooms. They're in the sea. They're in the ocean.
Yeah, that's wild. I wouldn't know how to explain that one. That's a very interesting concept.
Yeah, I mean, we just had to be honest and post evidence that we're not just making it up. And thankfully we were able to work around it, but it was it was interesting.
That's fair. Wow, a shark. That's
yeah.
Huh. Fair. That's that's a story to tell, you know.
Yeah. It's become a bit of a running joke within the team.
Oh, that's fair. Well, I guess kind of one of the questions, more on the creativity side of it. So what kind of made you come up with the name VRCDN?
It was. Honestly, I don't really remember. I think I originally wanted to go for something water themed, like stream. That would obviously taken. So I was thinking, I was like, using a dictionary to figure out all the different terms for water and streams, and in the end, I would just like, well, for Business Town. Obviously, we have no ties with VRChat. VRChat is a great platform, and I enjoy it myself. But I also wanted to be VR focused, in terms of the branding of the VR content delivery network. Because we also didn't want to tie ourselves to one particular platform. We want to support all of them, and we do, thankfully. But I'd be lying if I said that didn't play a part in the naming. But again, we're not part of VRChat. We would never be part of VRChat. I have been asked quite a lot if I can help them with the VRChat thing, or etc. And I'm like, I'd love to, but VRChat doesn't pay my wage, and we have no contracts with them. And as fun as it would be to work in the platform that I enjoy, I'm good.
No, that's fair. I mean, that's a pretty common stipulation with a lot of organizations like VRCDN. They're not like officially affiliated with VRChat. They do it because they support VRChat, and they love working inside, but not with the platform.
Exactly.
That goes with a lot of the major events, like Slyfest and Pijakati and all these bigger events. Like we're not officially endorsed or affiliated with VRChat, but we love this platform and we enjoy doing what we do and showcasing this platform. And VRCDN is no different. You've given realistically, if I had to put a ballpark figure to it, thousands of DJs and musicians a chance to have that real time no latency performing, and it's a huge thing. It's definitely commendable, to say the least.
Yeah, and it's not just DJs as well. I mean, we have live performers playing through VRCDN because it has the low latency. We have programmers sending data through VRCDN, like VRSL, for example, which I never considered. I never thought you could send data through a video, but I mean, yeah, like I guess. Well, technically there's a data stream. Okay, well, look, technical. We'll ignore that. I won't go tangenting.
No, go ahead. I'm interested now. Go ahead.
No. I'm not spoiling stuff I'm working on. I can't.
Okay.
Well, yeah. No. So there's a lot of use cases that I never expected VRCDN to be used for. It's not just DJs. It's everyone, which is I quite enjoy that.
No, fair. I mean, yeah. You mentioned VRSL. I never even thought about that, but I mean, yeah, you can very much have a lot of different things using VRCDN, as long as it's
There was one event called it was a IRL convention called MagFest in the States. I went this year. It was very fun. I think it was last year before. They have these like digital badges that you can buy, and for the VR portal that they have. They had like in the world they had these little like spaceships that were flying around, but those spaceships that were flying around will be controlled by people holding these badges. It was like a game on the badge, and all that data was sent through VRCDN. And I remember seeing a demo of it early on, and I'm just like, how did what? This is incredibly impressive, but also how did you figure this out? Tell me your secrets. But yeah, so it's these use cases that I was never expecting that really push, expectations, I guess, of what a simple live stream can do, and it's crazy what people are coming up with.
No, for sure. I mean, realistically, when it comes to VR, and I'm a firm believer of this, like you can practically do anything within legal reason. I gotta say that every time I say that, within legal reason. Within VRChat, it's crazy what people can come up with. The fact that you can have things like VRCDN where you're not getting any latency from a performer side to the person side, that's crazy. You also have you have worlds that are completely based off MIDI input. It's crazy. xCirrex, which is the person, the world, we had him earlier in the podcast. You know, his performance worlds are all MIDI based. So anything he was using on his instruments affected the lighting and stuff in the world. It's crazy.
That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah. I love the fact that he mocapped himself during that, so you can experience his exact same performance and, you know, anytime, anywhere. You know, but the original performances were completely done through MIDI, and it's crazy. Like, it was unheard of. I mean, there's so many other examples, like, but VRChat is a huge place when it comes to creative minds, and it's nuts. It's absolutely nuts.
And speaking of mocap, we're essentially wearing full body mocap suits. Yes, they're not the highest end, but this is a full body mocap suit. You know, I have legs, I have hands, I have a head. And you're now seeing a rise in like movies shot in VRChat and other VR platforms where actors are wearing full body trackers, because full body, we have face tracking now, we have eye tracking now. It's becoming VR's becoming a very much almost like a creative playground for any creative medium. So whether you want to do music or movies or shows or festivals or programming, or I saw Linux entirely running in a shader once.
Yeah.
They had an entire machine running in a shader, and I'm like, what? Okay. I mean, I guess. It's crazy. It really is really crazy.
It is nuts. Hello everyone, real quick, just want to pause the episode right here. I want to thank you all so much for watching this far. If you're interested in checking out some of the other content or staying up to date on all my other content, including the podcast, make sure to hit that subscribe button. It really does help me out a lot. And speaking of that, we now officially have all of the merch here on YouTube, from Squad Foreverfest to DJ Noved to Noved Notes merch. All the merch is now here on YouTube, so you no longer have to go to the merch site itself. It's all directly here. But of course, if you want to learn more about VRChat and maybe attend some of the events that I hold, feel free to join the Noved Squad at noved.6608. We're trying to hit 1,500 by the end of the year. So make sure to join the Noved Squad and attend some of the events. There's some amazing stuff coming up, not only at the end of this year, but also in 2026. So make sure to stay tuned. But let's get back into the episode. Woo! Well, I guess, you know, that begs the question, because obviously you've been around for quite a long time in VRChat, you know, doing, you know, performance sets and everything. So out of curiosity, like, you know, what kind of made you want to do performances, like, in the first place? Like, what kind of inspired you to do some of these performances in VRChat?
Like in DJing, or
yeah, DJing. Sorry,
yeah,
I should have specified.
I'm gonna say I don't sing. I'm sorry. I mean, I was DJing all the way through college, just as a hobby. I wasn't doing it professionally. Because I do have an interest in music. I did study music in college, and music theory and all that really fun stuff. But where I live, there's not that. There is no opportunity to DJ in real life. There's nothing here. I live in the middle of nowhere, basically. But VR changes that. You know, VRChat is like, oh, and other VR platforms. They're like, oh, there's a club in your living room with a headset on. You know, you have your gear. You just plug it in through VRCDN and off you go. There's a room full of people waiting, and I'm like, that you know, it's an opportunity that I couldn't have. I think VR as well is very good at giving opportunities like that.
Oh, 100%, 100% agreed. I mean, it's definitely. I mean, this stems back to early VRChat days. You know, it even before VRCDN, like there was always something when it comes to like music performances and stuff. Whether it was just, you know, having people have their instruments go through their, you know, their inputs, whatever the case. I'm not counting you phone players that play your phones and put it up to your microphone. No, I'm not counting those. I'm talking about like actual instrumentalists and singers and stuff. That, you know, back then it was a lot less than what it is now. But I mean, there was plenty of performers out there who were doing that type of thing, and now they have a means to do that without having to have all the, you know, dongles and everything set up to where it's, you know, a lot easier to do stuff like that.
Yeah, I remember in open mic night running across someone who was doing live beatboxing, and they were really good. And I don't think they play often very much anymore, sadly. But yeah, it was stuff like that. You still, I think the problem now is that a lot of especially VRChat's gone through a shift where public instances are no longer term. But this isn't a problem with VRChat, it's because it's grown, and more people, it's going to happen, blah blah blah. But I do think a lot of new users now are missing out on that, because you could go to the Great Pug and have a conversation with someone, go upstairs, and there'll be someone playing guitar, and it's like you don't really get that anymore.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, it's a different era. I mean, there's sometimes you can go to a random instance and find somebody, you find somebody playing something. I mean, there's still times. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just thinking Naku still does it. He plays piano live, and he's very good. I try and go to as many shows as I can with him because I do enjoy his music. But I think he's one of the very few who still does it in public instances.
At least ones that are more well known. Yeah, no, 100%. There's still a time every now and then I'll go to a random, because I like to. This sounds so messed up. I was gonna say I like to go down to those public lobbies sometimes, but but I do.
Yeah, so down to those levels.
I promise it sounded a lot worse than what I intended, but I genuinely like to see, like, okay, what are these players doing in these instances to this day? And this all stems from me being, community relations team lead over at Project Community, because we want them to learn more about VRChat, through Project Community and other things. So I'm like, okay, what happens? And once in a blue moon, you'll have somebody either on desktop or in full body, and they will be playing it like a guitar or piano or something, and they're actually playing it. They're not just like recordings. And it's very nice. Some people are still wanting to do that. I guess the term is busking, realistically. But people still do it. It's a lot more rare. But it does still happen. It's just you got to find the lobby where it's at. I mean,
yeah, I think with the new calendar system, it's easier to discover these kind of things. Because I think a lot of, we have a lot of external tools for the VRChat, like we have the timeline, VRCTL. It's an amazing resource if you know about it. If you don't know about it, you're not going to have that insight to what events are going on. So I think having, VRChat is getting into a point where these are becoming more easy to find, but you still got to go looking for them. It's not as easy as stumbling across them like you used to back in the old days.
No, 100%. And them implementing a native like calendar for that type of stuff, huge. I mean, we've been asking for that for a long time. I mean, there's plenty of different places now. Like, you mentioned VRCTL. There's what's the other one? There's another one that I use quite frequently. I just can't remember the name of it off the top of my head. There's so many different programs and websites and all this other stuff that it's hard to keep track of the names of them sometimes.
Yeah.
But there's a new one that just started production too, which I was actually invited to feature not only Project Community but also my stuff too, for Squad Forever Fest. Editor, put it on the screen. I can't remember off the top of my head. I feel so bad because they were so nice to me and everything. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
Really, I think I know who you mean, because I think I ran across someone who's involved with it recently. If I could probably go look it up, but I'd have to go digging through like chat logs and yeah.
Yeah. We'll just have the editor put it on the screen. It's fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, I mean, with VRChat now putting a native calendar, it's definitely a lot more helpful, especially one that you can actually just go to the instances rather than having to look up the group, look up, information. It's like, oh, it's right there. Oh, there's a a jazz club event. All right, let's go check it out. Click it, join event. Perfect. Like absolute cinema. It's
yeah, indeed.
It's such a helpful feature. I wish it came out a little bit earlier, but it was so funny because I was talking to some of the people in VRChat that kind of was planning the whole groups fair through the open beta and everything, and it just so happened to be right after Squad Forever Fest. I'm like, damn it.
I feel a little bad timing.
Yeah, but hey, we at least got the feature. I'm more than happy we got the feature.
We did.
At all. but no, I mean, and they continue to use that. I know there's, you have your regular events that are on the calendar, and even VRChat's getting involved to having featured events, through trusted communities, and stuff. So it's like, hey, like, this is a featured event. It could be a music event, could be a hangout event, a game night, whatever the case may be. And it shows the many amazing things of VRChat, which is great, because that's what we love to do here, at the end of the day.
Indeed. I mean, like VRChat and other VR platforms are, as I said earlier, like hubs of creativity. You just got to go find it.
100%. 100%. Back in the topic, I tangent a little bit too much on that. My apologies.
You're right.
But kind of go back into, what you've done, especially when it comes to DJing. So you mentioned, you went to, college, you did some music training in college. So out of curiosity, if you recall, like, what was one of your first events, like, DJing inside of VRChat, out of curiosity?
Ooh, the very first event I DJed for was DDVR 500 member party. And I remember that, because I still have pictures of it on my PC.
You should send those to me. But, that'd be cool.
I will. I'll have to go digging, but yeah, I think I know what they are. I have a lot of pictures from the old days. I even have a 360 picture because the in-game camera used to do 360 images, and I have 360 images of the old perk, which, to be fair, hasn't changed. Yeah.
No, I mean, that's totally fair. But yeah, I mean, because obviously you DJ'd more in the early days. So I guess from your personal experience, like, what was it like back then to DJ in VRChat? Like from your personal experience, like, what were some like the keynotes when it comes to performing back in that day?
The only other than mic swamming, because we didn't have stream played back then, I think the only real takeaway was how much smaller the scene was. I mean, I think when I started, there was only 2 groups. Like, that was it. To my knowledge, anyway. And it was always a case of everyone. Okay, one big thing that I remember was groups would schedule their events around each other, so there was never any clashing. Because there wasn't enough people to film up instances back then. I don't know. It just seemed a lot more close knit, a lot more. I don't want to call it like a. How do I word this? I don't want to call it like a. I'm gonna say cult. That's not the word. It's almost like a close knit community where everyone knew everyone regardless of which group you're in, because it was all basically one big group with under different titles and different management.
No, I mean, that's pretty accurate. There's not a lot of good ways to phrase that, but I mean, yeah, it was a lot smaller platform back then compared to what it is now. I mean, now we're getting 100,000 plus players a night, like throughout the day. But I mean, it was a different time, right? It was a different era, where it was a lot smaller and these type of things could be communicated a little bit easier. Now you have many players across the world and different. Yeah, it's all over the place, but it'd be very hard to do that nowadays, unfortunately.
I don't think there's enough time in the day to schedule every event to not clash.
Oh, 100%. No, it would be a nightmare. Like, that, you would have to have that as like a paid position somewhere. Like, hey, you're the scheduling guy. Make sure this doesn't clash with anything. And it would probably take you hours upon end to figure what time that would work.
Yeah. Gosh.
I couldn't imagine.
Okay. Yeah, no, it's really interesting though, because obviously being a global platform as VR is and as VRCDN is, it's very interesting seeing the peaks of the time zones, because there's never any quiet time. It's always peaking somewhere. And New Year's is really good for this, because one year we had a map of the midnight per time zone and where our viewers were. And you can literally see midnight go across the globe as people came in for midnight and then left again, which was kind of crazy.
It's crazy what you can see, like, when it comes to analytics side. It's crazy. Not to mention, I mean, there's so many different areas now, and sometimes they're better for, like, the Asia side, sometimes they're better for EU side, sometimes they're a lot they're better for the North American side. there's no, to put it bluntly, there's no perfect time for all time zones.
No.
Which sucks, but I mean, hey, it is what it is, you know. That's why a lot of these, you know, bigger events, they'll go for such a long time. You know, they'll go for 12 plus hours a day just so they can get some portions of each side, which is a lot of work, to say the least, especially to stay up that long.
I mean, I remember when DDVR, they used to do an EU event and an NA event, but it was the same event just split in two, literally, you know, as one event. Because there was not enough DJs, they'd have one EU DJ and one NA DJ, and you'd play for 4 to 6 hours, and that was normal, because you play until your Vive ones or whatever ran out of battery, which was usually about 6 hours. That's something I miss, but also don't miss. It's a long time.
No, I'm fair. But kind of get back into you specifically.
Yeah, sorry, tangent.
No, you're good. We're both doing it at this point. But you know, so obviously, you know, you've performed at a lot of big events. You know, you were at Slyfest, which I'm very happy that performance is you can watch it. You know, with the whole hologram. Well, not it. It looks like a hologram, but
it's called Shade Immersion. Yeah, it's called Shade Immersion. It's built by someone called Lox. And they're basically doing real-time mocap of my full body performance as I'm doing it and saving it a bit like you would do like VRSL data. It's kind of insane. I remember seeing it another, you know, I got to see it early. And I remember I had a clone of me in the world, and I was like, because let's say VRCDN, it was basically shadowing me, and it was really, really weird, but really, really cool.
No, I mean I mean, for anybody that hasn't seen, you can still to this day go to the old Slyfest worlds, the real live versions, and see these performances. I very much question a lot of your visualizer stuff. It's probably some of the most goofiest things. Like, it was funny because before we recorded, I went to go do some research, and I watched, I think it was 2020.
Yeah, three.
Yeah, and it was
that had the crazy visuals.
Yeah, and all I see is Peter Griffin from Family Guy doing the skating. And I'm like, what is going on here? It was so enjoyable. It was so much fun. But I was like, these are some interesting visuals.
I once played the VRChat New Year's, and I had the same VJ do visuals for that set. I can't remember, I think it was one of the VRC team came up to me after my set and was like, what the heck did we just watch? And I'm like, you're welcome.
No, I mean, overall it was great. It was a fun time to listen to.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, you know, between that and I also personally want to thank you again because you also did perform on my event Squad Forever Fest. So yes. I do want to thank you again for performing.
It was an honor. It was an honor.
Yeah, no, it was a blast, and you know, hopefully, you know, maybe we can bring you back next year with the new team and stuff. So I'm very, trust me, I'm going to be at least hitting you up for VRCDN help.
I'll be more than happy to point you towards my support team.
That's fine. I'll gladly go to the support team, but.
Yeah, please. This is something I get a lot. Don't directly DM me because I do sometimes sleep, and I'm not going to be able to help you if I'm asleep. But the team are usually there 24/7, and they're going to be more better to support. Not just you, obviously everyone. Yeah, I get a lot of DMs. People being like, "My stream doesn't work," and it's like, you know, I'm in bed, and they're like, "Why aren't you replying?" I'm like, "Sorry, time zones. I'm asleep. I'm sorry."
No, fair. That's what I meant. I meant more of like a contact support. Yeah. Shame on me. Bah. But no, it's but I'm definitely excited to, you know, get VRCDN more for some of my stuff. Hopefully one day, you know, some major things when it comes to what I'm doing outside of the Squad Forever Fest, but that's to be determined. There's a lot of things in the background that I can't spoil yet, but
yeah, I know that feeling.
But yeah, so obviously, you know, with all these, you know, events you've been at over the years, is there, you know, you talked about DDVR, DDVR, out of curiosity, were there any other, like, you know, events that kind of you hold cherish, like, or you hold cherish words? Ooh. I guess other events that you cherish or like hold close to you.
I mean, VRC PC, the VRChat party community, was I believe, the first party community that I was at least aware of. which then spawned off DDVR, which then spawned off blah, 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 and kind of snowballed from there. So that community sadly no longer runs events. They stopped running years ago. I think Elysium also shut down. They were one of the very first events to do themed events, I think. So they run one event every 2 weeks, and they'd have a brand new map with a brand new intro video and a brand new theme every 2 weeks, which was absolutely insane. Chrisu, who was the 3D artist, solo 3D artist on that project, was insane. Completely insane. I don't know how they did it, but those were very memorable. And I think the other one, just to name three, the very first Live Fest 2020, was the first time what would become VRCDN was used in a production environment. And I didn't realize what Live Fest was until it was too late. Basically, they were using Twitch. Twitch was having issues for whatever reason. I got a message from a friend of mine, and she's like, "Hey, this is VR event. Stream's broken. You're working on a stream thing. Can they use the stream thing?" And I'm like, "Sure, I'll help them get this started. You know, join the call, get it in well, get it running. Don't think anything of it." And then I'm watching. You know, I'm sat back watching the servers, and I'm like, servers are busy. 100 viewers, 200 viewers, 300 viewers, 400. I'm like, oh, what the heck is this? Yeah, they had Slushy playing. Slyfest was apparently a big thing. And I'm like, I have 3 days of this to deal with code that is barely running. So I spent 3 days basically live patching what would become VRCDN solo, which thankfully no one noticed. Thankfully all ran smoothly, but that was what was it? Not only proved that I was going down the right path in terms of technology, but it also proves that maybe this was more viable than I was expecting, and maybe it's a little bit more. It can handle more than I was expecting. So yeah, Cyber 2020, the first one. That I still have nightmares over those 3 days. To be fair, they were a long 3 days.
I believe it. Yeah, I mean any multi-day event, it can feel very long.
Yes.
The amount of PTSD I have from some of the multi-day events I've staffed is there'll be times where I'll be answering Discord DMs in my sleep. I'll be like,
yeah. I think toward day 3, I hadn't slept for so long, and I've just been fully, repairing the code and fixing what I can on the fly. That I don't remember the end, but I do have pictures of it. And then there was an after party, which I definitely don't remember. I think I finally passed out at that point.
Fair, not fair. I mean, it's definitely a crazy thing when it comes to multi-day events. But and obviously, outside of VRCDN and DJing, you also do a few other things as well. You also are a part of the team of the Miku Experience. So for the general listening audience, what exactly is the Miku Experience?
Miku Experience. It's a fully fan-made vocalated event where we, I'm the lead animator. I'm the lead animator. I'm the only animator. So I animate all the tracks myself. We have a now very wonderful 3D artist team that are going to be crafting some very fun worlds that I can't wait to show off. They're looking very cool. And yeah, it's basically a vocaloid event concert in VR.
I mean, that's amazing to say the least. And so I guess out of curiosity, what kind of made you want to work with, the Miku Experience? Like, what kind of inspired that?
Well, back in, 2016, I used to do vocal animations for various things. And I stopped doing it because I kind of, I don't want to say grew out of it. I didn't grow out of it. I just had to focus on things like a day job, which wasn't fun. And then when 2018 rolled around, I went to a vocal concert in the UK, and it resparked the passion to me. I was like, I can do this, VR is a thing, I can do this. And then I didn't do anything. And then 2020 happened, and I went to another vocal concert in London, and I was like, it resparked me again. Yes, we can do this. It's going to be a fun thing. I have VR, I can do this. And then COVID happened, and I had no other excuse to keep putting it off. So I started animating, and 4 years later, because animating takes a very long time, because I do it all by hand, it takes about a month to do one song of like solid out animation, or full time for a month. And then, like I said, 2024 happened. We hosted our first event. I didn't expect it to really pop off. I didn't expect it to be popular because it's a niche thing. I didn't really market it very well. Running events isn't my forte. And then the instance was full before I could announce the instance was open, which was kind of shocking. And it was a hit. It was a huge hit. We had multiple reruns. We were then featured at different festivals where we do minis, like half-hour shows to kind of promote what we're doing, and also, you know, to build the fan base, because there's a lot of Vocaloid fans in VR. It's just a fun thing to do. And yeah, it's kind of over from there. Now it's another thing I have to deal with.
No, I mean, yeah, it's definitely nuts. And if I recall correctly, you do have the Miku Experience mini world here in VR. So I get, is that like one of the performances you can watch like to this day, or
all the performances are done live. We don't do pre-recorded performances. And by live I mean you have to be there to see it. You know, it's all streamed in. I don't mean there's someone up there with full body tracking. No, we don't do that. But the mini world is where we'll be hosting the next event on December 20th. There's currently a countdown timer to the event, which I think has like 20 odd days left on it. And I jumped in there a couple of days ago, and people were like, "Oh my god, it's starting soon." And I'm like, "No, it's starting in almost a month." And I'm like, "Oh." I felt really bad, but he's like, "I'm sorry, there's nothing I can do."
You said the 20th of December, correct?
Yes, 20th of December.
So that's a week from when this episode is currently airing. So you should definitely, you know,
okay.
keep an eye out somewhere.
Yeah, it's also join the VRChat group, because we're on the VRChat calendar as well.
Oh, there you go.
Experience.
There you go. And we'll have the links in the description. We'll say all the links at the end of the episode. But yeah, I mean, that's awesome. You know, it's definitely. I mean, that's awesome. The Vocaloids being a huge thing when it comes to like VR. There's not a person probably on VRChat that doesn't at least know who Hatsune Miku is. I'm just saying.
Exactly. And you know, I'm honored to bring it to VR. It's just something I want to do for a while, and I'm glad it's as popular as it is. I'm hiring animators, by the way, just saying, because like I can do this on my own. There's a lot to do.
Fair. No, I mean that's it. I mean, you said the best. Animation does take a long time.
It does. And I'm very strict on my animation quality. If it doesn't look like it's full mocap, it's not good enough. So there'll be little things no one notices, but I notice. Like if Miku's standing on one leg, she'll wobble a little if she gets her balance. Like things that no one will notice, but I notice, so it has to be in.
No, that's fair. I mean, that's what makes it look real. You know, it makes it look, you know, to an extent perfect. You know, and it takes, I mean, as you said, you know, it takes months to do one, or like a month to do a song. Yeah. No, I mean, that's perfectly valid. It's a lot.
Yeah, there's also a few Easter eggs in the shows that I leave in, mainly because I forgot to take them out. Like there's in one of the tracks, there's a placeholder. Miku should be holding a microphone, but she isn't, because I didn't have a microphone model at the time. I needed something as reference to pose her fingers. I did have a Sims, you know, the Sims Diamond, the plumb bob. I did have that model. So Miku is holding a Sims plumb bob, screaming into it like a microphone. And it's in the production shows, and I see it every time, and no one notices, but I see it.
No, fair. I mean, that it's the small little details, which is very commendable. And a lot of people take for granted 9 times out of 10. You know, it and that goes with any type of creation, whether it's, you know, VR world creation, avatar creation. You know, it's the very small things that, you know, people will very much not notice, but the creators and the people that are in that circle, they're like, that's an interesting thing. Why do they do that? How do you do it better?
Yeah,
like,
it also, the thing is, these tracks got all the way through my team. My team didn't notice. And it's like, it's glaringly obvious. And they're like, yeah, for like 30 pixels between the fingers. And I'm like, oh, okay, good point. Maybe it is just me who sees it.
Yeah. I mean, you know, we're one of the biggest things when it comes to being a creator of any caliber. You know, we're our own worst critics. You know, at the end of the day.
Yeah, tell me about it. I'm aware.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter if you're a singer, a DJ, a world creator, a tech person. Like, we're all our own worst critics, and you know, but at the end of the day, you know, people do, you know, they don't see it from the creator point of view; they see it from an experience point of view. So as long as you give them a good experience, at the end of the day, you know, those little things may not matter, even though it does to us as the creator. But
Yeah, no, as you said, experience is everything, and we hope to give that experience to people who maybe can't attend an IRL show. You know, it's during one of our last shows, there was someone literally screaming at the top of their lungs for, I guess we had their favorite song playing or whatever, which was deafening but also rewarding.
fair. Oh man, I mean that there's so much when it comes to like those type of performances. I guaranteed when it comes to all that, but I definitely at one point I'm going to have to experience it firsthand.
Yes,
I remember
yes.
I remember us talking about it, and you're like yeah, I'm like heavy in production, like I'll get back to you. I'm like totally fine.
Yes,
you cook.
Yeah, I think this was before our last main event, which was our most popular. I think we doubled the numbers that we saw the year before. And this next year we're expecting to double or triple again, which is kind of getting into stupid numbers now. I need to up my VRCDN tier.
No, I mean yeah. I mean at this point, yeah. But hey, you know, we're always growing, we're always improving. That's the part of the creator way, you know. You know, and speaking from a creator point of view, kind of to move on, which, like I said, I'm definitely gonna have to experience the Miku Experience at some point.
If you want, after the camera's cut, I can show you some cool stuff we're working on.
Yeah, I would love to.
Yeah.
But you know, speaking from a creator point of view, because obviously, you know, you've done a lot of creating over the years, you know, and obviously VRCDN is the child, you know, the baby, if you will. You know, so obviously when it comes to being a creator, you know, for those that are maybe interested in creating these high end, what's the wording here? High-end projects, I guess is the best way I can phrase this without, you know, if somebody's interested in doing a high-end project, what is a piece of advice that you can give for somebody who's wanting to start something like of a big project caliber? I guess is what I'm trying to say. It's a weird way of phrasing it. I'm sorry.
I think I can boil it down to 3 things.
Sure.
Research, so you know what the heck you're doing, because some of the things I do, I started doing with no knowledge. And if you don't know what you're doing, you don't know how to do it. So research is always a key thing. Do as much research as possible. There's the internet is an amazing place for learning absolutely anything. Second will be planning and figuring out what you're going to do to complete the project, and timelines, and sticking to them, and not skirt creeping, which is something I'm really bad at. It's all of the different projects I do, I skirt creeped in some way, and my team have hated me for it. But I will keep doing it. I think the last one would be team. If you can do everything on your own, you can, but it will drive you insane, if not kill you. It is incredibly difficult to do everything, and having a team that you can trust, that is knowledgeable, that is reliable, that is as passionate as you are and as dedicated as you are, will make or break a lot of projects, I think. And I think, yeah, those 3 I think would be the main key things of how I even do half the things I do.
Fair. I mean, those are all solid pieces of advice, to say the least. Yeah, I mean, realistically, with a lot of these big things, it does take a team to do things. While a lot of these projects started with one person, it's very unmanageable after you grow, especially if you grow a lot.
Yes.
It's getting to the point, even something like what I do, I have to find people, like, not Squad Forever Fest. I need a team off rip for that one. But, you know, for the podcast, like, I've been heavily debating getting staff. You know,
yeah.
we're almost 2 years strong now, and I'm like, oh no, like, I don't know if I could. I keep pushing myself, but it's definitely, you know,
yeah.
You got to find the right people to do what you want to do to make it the way you want to see fit.
Exactly. There's nothing against doing what's called a blockout, where you build your vision to even, like, for example, I'm not a 3D artist. Blender scares me. Unity, I'm becoming friends with, shall we say? Blender still scares me though. And you know, it's like the Miku Experience, I knew what I wanted, but I didn't know how to make it. So I got cubes, and I put cubes where I wanted cubes. And I sat down with my world creator Twisty, and I was like, this is the vision. You have the skills. Please go make it. And he did. And yeah, okay, it isn't the greatest world, but now I have more of a team that are expanding on it. We're having more ideas because, again, more people bring new ideas that you might not have considered, and now we have some really cool things that maybe I'll show you after the camera's cut that I can't talk about sadly until the next the next year.
Sure, and obviously, and I'm going to make this clear. This is not you're not the only guest that had to do this, and that's totally fair. We got to keep the people on their toes.
Yes, you got to keep the secrets, got to keep the surprises.
All right then, I can see the memes now. All right then, keep your secrets. Yes,
yes, sadly yes.
But, there's a lot when it comes to these productions, and a lot of it is back-end stuff that most people wouldn't even have the time of day to learn about. So it's fine. But
yes, it's like one thing I've been working on, and I mentioned this in our pre-talk before we started recording, and I did open source some of this. I've been working automating world uploading to VRChat because our issue now is we have multiple people working on our worlds, and I don't want to give them my login to go, hey, upload the world to my account when you're done. But I also don't want to have to download everything, open Unity, watch Unity freak out for a while, hit the wrong button, break everything, which I have done before. So I've been writing a tool to, as soon as one of my team pushes a change to our where we keep our project files, our Unity projects and whatever, we internally play Bob the Builder because it builds the world. We'll go in, pull all the changes, make the world, push it to VRChat, and it all goes to my account, and it's so nice. I can help there, but realistically, you need a team to do everything.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, that goes with any type of event, when especially world creation side. That's a whole nother. We've had plenty of world creators on the podcast, and it's a process. It's very much a process. Yeah. I agree with you. Blender scares me too. I get it.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, it's crazy. Unfortunately, and this did not feel as. I'm looking at the time now. This did not feel as long as it did.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Yeah, we would go for about an hour and 12 minutes. So I do want to wrap things up a little bit. First and foremost, thank you so much for coming on. This was a blast.
No worries.
To have you on.
It's a pleasure.
Finally.
I'm honored.
Yeah, of course. But before we do end things off, I do want to give you a chance to tell the people where they can find your stuff, VRCDN, Miku Experience, all that stuff. Any links you want on screen in the description, stuff like that. But yeah, feel free to take it away and tell them where they can find you.
Yeah, easiest place would be, I have a website called Jazzy.land. All of my links are in that. It is so much easier to it's like a link tree, but one of them up with Windows XP. Don't worry about it.
The Windows XP.
It will make more sense when you get there. I promise. Well, maybe not.
Fair enough. And of course, the VRC groups will also be in the description as well.
Yes.
But yeah, go check out what was it called? I know it's not a link tree. What was it?
Jazzy.land.
Jazzy.land.
It's basically it looks like a link tree. It's not a link tree. It's something I built myself. And some of the buttons do fun things, like open Windows XP, which is my newest scope creep.
Fair enough. But yeah, go check out Jazzy.land. Go check out the VRC groups, all that stuff. All the links will be down in the description. But yeah. Thank you so much again. This is a blast. No
worries. I enjoyed it.
You came to me at HorrorCon, you're like, yeah, when can I get on a podcast? I'm like, oh, okay. Let me just make room in my schedule real quick. I'll make it work.
Yeah, I have a habit of just reaching out to people going, hey, I want to do that thing. Let me on the thing. I want to do the thing.
Dude, you should have heard me in the Pizza Kit TV staff VZ. I was like, holy shit. I was honored that you even wanted to come on. I was like, this is fucking awesome. I'm honored. But yeah, I'm gonna end this out. Ladies, gentlemen, everybody inside and outside the ballpark, that has been it for episode 89. Yes, of the Noved.
Sorry.
Was it 88? Whatever
No,
number,
89.
it's right there. But thank you all so much for watching, listening, depending on which of the 10 platforms you're on. Comment down below. Ooh, this is going to be a good one. Comment down below. What is your favorite usage of VRCDN? What event or what performance have you seen that may or may not have used VRCDN? Comment down below your favorite performance or event that's used VRCDN. There's a lot. But yeah, comment down below. And of course, if you are coming to check out some of my other content or you're coming back to check out some of the other episodes, why not hit that subscribe button? It helps me out a lot and you're already coming back anyway. But with that, I want to thank you all one last time for watching, listening, depending on what platform you're on. And I will see you in the next episode. Take care and peace.
Bye-bye.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Noved.